Hey, welcome to the Fatherless Cheat Sheet, a Thanksgiving episode. You'll notice this is a little bit shorter because honestly, I'm not going to bore you on Thanksgiving. You're going to get enough boredom from your families and your uncle who doesn't shut the hell up and whoever else you're going to see. And you're going to just enjoy yourself. You're going to enjoy your time with your family and your friends and your kids. And it's a great day for that. It's a great day. It's a great precipice to the holidays, to the holiday season, to the excitement and revelry that's to come. When I was younger, I didn't always appreciate Thanksgiving. I enjoy it a lot more now because you can kind of just take a little bit of a break, take a little bit of a beat. And also now with my girls, we watch the parade in the morning, we have breakfast. It's great. In the afternoon, we go to my in-laws' house and we have a really nice time there. They run around and now the focus is on the girls, and it's sort of fun to just watch them grow and enjoy that spotlight from everybody looking at them playing and things like that. It's very sweet. So that's where the focus is now. But I wanted to just check in real quick, just give you a quick 10 minutes or so, maybe 13. You know how I can go on and on. And the first thing I want to talk about was just when you're filling some time over the holiday weekend. I don't know what you're doing, but I found 3 really relevant documentaries. I'm a big doc fan. I love watching them and hearing people's stories, where they came from, how they ended up where they are now as we all know them. The three documentaries that I saw recently all had a through line that really it connects to our show, to the Fatherless Cheat Sheet. The first one was called I Like Me, John Candy's documentary. I'm a big John Candy fan. I mean, I don't think you can know anybody. Maybe some younger people don't really know his work, but I don't know if you could find somebody to say that they're not a John Candy fan. If they actively don't like him, I'm not sure how to explain that one. But that was a really great documentary. John Candy lost his father when he was very young. So he grew up fatherless. And then subsequently, he obviously died young. And his son then had to grow up the same way. I think his son was about 8 or 9. Sorry if I'm getting that wrong. And his son seemed like a really nice guy as well. And he looks just like him, my God. But just hearing him talk about it a little bit and just, you could just see the pain on his face, revisiting some of these stories and things like that. But great documentary, really entertaining. And it's always great to see him, especially coming up to Christmas time. What a great role in Home Alone that he has as the lead of the Kenosha Kickers. And he gives Catherine O'Hara a ride back home. But the second documentary was the Billy Joel documentary. Very, very, really well done. Very long, but just to revisit all of his music and his hits. What a talented person, songwriter, musician. Some of his influences included classical music. I didn't know much about that, but that tied into his dad was heavily involved in music. And his dad left. His dad left him. He was estranged for years and years and years. And eventually they had a reunion. But from what it seemed, it kind of haunted Billy Joel throughout and was a big motivation for him, I think. And it was just a really great, interesting documentary. So if you have a month and a half, you should check that out because it's pretty long, but it's good. It's worth it. And then the third one, I actually haven't finished yet, to be totally honest, but I'm getting there. And it's 3 episodes. It's A-Rod, Alex versus A-Rod, or A-Rod versus Alex, about Alex Rodriguez. In my opinion, steroids are not one of the best baseball players of all time. I got to watch him in his prime when I was a younger player. Just some of the things he was able to do on the field, and he's just such a baseball nerd and fan himself. And his dad left him when he was, and left his family. His dad was very troubled, and he left his family when A-Rod was a young boy, 10 years old. And eventually they reunited, and they talk about that a little bit. But his dad's absence, admittedly, and this is in the documentary, had a major effect on him. psychologically, emotionally, and it just sort of was one of those things that stuck with him and affected him for his life and career. And I also see you got to see him as a father with his two girls. He has two daughters, and they're older now, and he just seems like a really great dad. And he's got some stuff. He definitely has some critics, and some of it's warranted. But I don't know, to see that side of him with his daughters, and it was pretty great, pretty entertaining documentary. I'm going to finish it, like I said, but I've seen enough that I could recommend that as well. So just 3 great watches for you that directly and unmistakably relate to the Fatherless Cheat Sheet. And those guys obviously were great successes. And that's it. So check those out. You have a little time. I know there's a million things to watch, including all of the Christmas movies that are on deck, and we'll probably talk a little bit about that because I love Christmas movies and we love watching them. But these are just have nothing to do with the holidays. But if you have a little extra time and you're just digesting on the couch, you throw one of those on, and you'll like that. So those are just a couple picks that are relevant. So check them out. And secondly, I wanted to talk about my uncle. My Uncle Al passed away February. Yeah, February. This past February of 25. And he was going to be about to be 93. So he had a good run. It wasn't expected exactly in that time, but it wasn't unexpected. And he went out his way. He went out fairly peacefully after some struggles, but he was okay. And in terms of, it wasn't like this long suffering thing. He had some ailments and things like that, but overall he was okay. I guess I want to talk about him very quickly, and I want to frame it in terms of gratitude. Gratitude being so overused now. Gratitude being so co-opted by the precious, by the phonies, by the charlatans out there. Just that word. And oftentimes the people that are espousing gratitude are the same ones that are bitching out the barista because they messed up their matcha tea or whatever the hell they drink. But my Uncle Al, I used to call him Pal. So Pal, he lived gratitude more in the sense of appreciation. He was a lifelong bachelor. There were plenty of ladies in and out of his life up until the very end. And he lived life in a very simple way. He was an insurance adjuster, but in his own right, he loved art. He loved music. He was actually a pretty decent writer as well. When he had the opportunity to showcase that, I don't know how to give an example right now, but he was sort of a really interesting guy in his simplicity and in his appreciation for the simple joys of life. And he would never hit you over the head with it. He was a very, very laid back, mellow guy. And in terms of my relationship with him, he was never a father figure, not even close. That's not a knock on him. It's almost as if we were buddies of totally different generations, because I probably reminded him a little bit of his guys when he grew up, and he had friends all the way until his late 80s and early 90s. And then when I brought him up to live by me at a facility, like a community, not facility, it was great. It was a really great place. And he made a lot of friends, and he made a big impact there for the time he was there. And it actually extended his life quite a bit, because the quality of life there was so great, and he needed to plug into that social aspect of it. So it was almost as if that appreciation for those things, and that his social lifestyle, if you will, was sort of tenfold. It was 10x'd. So he really got a lot out of that in his later years. But I always admired him for his gratitude, as I go back to that word, his gratitude and appreciation for the very nearly mundane. I mean, he could take something very sort of, rudimentary and get the most out of it. I always really appreciated that about him, and I think that that's maybe what Thanksgiving can be about. Of course, you're thankful for your family, the health of your family and your kids and your friendships and your relationships and all that stuff. But even I think sometimes it's nice to reflect on the simple things that make us happy, right? Sitting down with a pint of Haagen-Dazs next to your sweetheart and watching something new on Netflix, or taking a walk with your kids and on a sunny day, or having that whiskey with your buddy and talking about the week or telling old stories and things like that. So this time of year gives us a chance to do that, and I always appreciated that about my pal, and he's missed for sure, and I just wanted to say a couple words about him because I just thought he was a really solid guy. He was a good guy, and so anyway, so that's for pal. But lastly, I wanted to just have a drink with you quickly. I know that I talk about booze, I make jokes and things like that. But for me, it's not about the being 20 years old and getting drunk of it all. It's about breaking bread. It's about sitting down and having that sip of whiskey and letting those worries or those walls come down for a second and just sort of taking a breath and relaxing, having that great glass of wine with my wife, or you have that glass of wine over dinner with a friend, with your partner, and it's just that communal thing. Now, if you're not into booze, that's fine, and you can pour yourself a Fanta right now, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour myself a drink. I'll give you a minute to do that. You can always pause me, but I'm going to talk about this bottle real quick. So this is a bottle. This is this is the Kings County Distillery. Pour myself one of these. Kings County is Brooklyn. I was distilled in Brooklyn, so I kind of have something in common with this booze. But I was meeting a buddy in the city, had a day where I could do that. In the daytime, we're going to go see a movie at the IFC down there. So I went over to a store along Hudson, right by Christopher Street. And I asked the guy, this guy that was running this liquor store was like the coolest dude you ever saw. It was almost he had hair. He was like as cool as Eddie Vedder, hanging from the rafters, and even flow. This guy was just awesome. I don't know why I was so taken by this guy. He was just like a cool dude, like a New York City, edgy, probably in a band. It was just a cool guy. And I said, hey, I'm just looking. I'm doing this. I'm going to meet a buddy at a movie. I know you're thinking to yourself, who the hell drinks at a movie? Well, I do. Let's meet a buddy. I'd rather have a little nip than gummy bears. Leave me alone. So he suggested this bourbon that I can buy in that size because it's small. And boy, was it a hit. Kings County Distillery. I have no relationship to them, no sponsorship. Who knows? Maybe someday. Who the hell knows? But it is such a good bourbon. I enjoy it so much. I ordered this online. And I figured I'd break this out to have a drink with you. And so to everybody, happy Thanksgiving, all the health, and thank you for listening. Thank you to my fantastic production team, Nicole, Madison, and EJ. And anybody who's listened so far, really, thank you. I appreciate it. This has been a lot of fun. I don't know where it's going. I don't know how long it's going for, but we're just going to keep rolling. And we have some fun stuff coming in December. Some holiday stuff, some Christmas stuff, and we'll talk to you then. So thanks a lot. Happy Thanksgiving. Squeeze your kids hard. Okay. Give the dog some turkey, and we'll see you soon. Have a great one.